Hey there, I'm Lance.
And I'm Jeremy.
And we are Hard to Master, where we take a look at games that are hard to master. In this video, we are going to be taking a look at the Ghost Betwixt. This is a dungeon crawling game in which you are playing as a family in the Midwest in the 1990s, and your child has been kidnapped. And
Really?
yeah.
That's what happened in that? Did we read that?
Yeah, horrifying stuff. The kidnappers are this family or just some people who run an old abandoned haunted house that has had a lot of creepy stuff going on in it over the years. And they've never been convicted of anything, but by golly, we are going to go in there, get our kid back, and bring them to justice.
I mean, all they need is a sheriff to go and see there's blood dried on the
This
tiles,
has got the Children of the Corn or Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes to it.
I don't know, Children of the Corn, that's a great movie, but this, I'd say more Texas Chainsaw.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre for sure. There's got to be a Leatherface somewhere in this game, I imagine.
Just skip the Netflix movie.
Yeah.
Don't ruin your time or the series.
But anyhow, this, like I said, is a dungeon crawler. You are going to be exploring and fighting baddies throughout the way. You're going to be rolling dice. This has dice-based combat in it. You are going to be using cards, but it is not card play. This is more so I have items that help me beef up my dice or get more dice or re-roll my dice. So if you are somebody who's not all that into dice rolling combat, then this is definitely not going to be the game for you. I stink at rolling dice. However, I did pretty good in this game.
Pretty well.
Pretty well. The teacher over here. But, you know, I typically don't roll dice too well. Usually, Jeremy, you're the one who likes dice rolling games a little bit more.
I'm just skilled at dice. I mean, take me to Vegas.
Yeah, for sure. But anyhow,
drop the cubes too in the loop.
In this video, we're just going to tell you a little bit about our thoughts on this game, share just a little brief of what this game, how it works, and then that's it. That's all we're going to do in this video. Real quick, what you're doing, as I mentioned, you're going to be exploring, you're going to be moving your characters. There's going to be 4 in the game, and you do have to play with all 4 regardless of whether you have 4 players or not, meaning some people may control more than one character. There is these are squares. Everything is in a grid here, and so you're going to be moving these spaces throughout the board. Each player has their own speed, which is how many spaces you can move, and you are going to be moving and attacking. You're going to be encountering these bad guys, such as the guard dogs or members of the lackey family or whoever these people are. They're just maniacs that are humanish. They may not even be fully human, we're not sure. But they are going to be your enemies, and you're going to move up to them. You're going to be doing melee attacks. You're going to be doing ranged attacks. Talk about both of your characters. They had pretty good ranged attacks.
Yeah, I had one character that had a slingshot that, I mean, she's like Bart Simpson level. She did not miss. She even took out Bertha. And so basically on your board, it's going to tell you which die you're going to pull. Maybe it's a light blue die. Maybe it's a light green die. Maybe it's a little bit stronger die, like a normal shade of green or blue. And you'll roll those die. They'll have different successes on them. You'll have a diamond or maybe a bang. And you have to have a bang to get the accuracy die to actually hit. So by getting that bang, I'm going to get damage. And then based on your character ability or, I mean, talent or whatever items you have equipped as far as weapons, a diamond could give you another success. It could blind them. There's a lot of different modifications that can come from the different cards and how your die successes play out. So you could have a lot of, I mean, your board is set up to have different headgear, your chest gear, maybe even your footwear.
2 hands.
So accessories, but on the same side, there is a weight limit. So if you go above your weight limit, then it could, cause you some trouble.
And mentioning that weight limit, you do have some different characteristics about the characters in the game. You've got Mom and Dad, which I played over on this side of the table. That's why I'm pointing over there. Bill and Joan, they're a little bit stronger, and so they can carry more items. And then over here on this side, we had the kids, Evelyn and Maddox, who aren't as strong, but they are better in other ways. And so there is a little bit of asymmetry amongst the players, but as we were kind of talking about it, it's not a whole lot. And so you're really not getting extremely different experiences playing the different types of characters.
I mean, your statistics are going to be a little bit different as far as your range, your strength, speed. In addition to that, you're going to have different die that you're going to be able to pull, whereas Evelyn, she was able to start with a light blue die, whereas Maddox, Wheels as I call him, was in...
He's a little bit stronger, a little bit more stout.
Reminds me of the BK Kids, Wheels.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I got to play him.
So he's rolling a green die, solid green die. Mm-hmm. And the darker the die, the better it is typically in this game, or at least that's what it seems. Mm-hmm. You also are going to be rolling defense dice for whenever the baddies attack you. Every character has their own color of defense die that they're to roll. Typically, it's either going to be a light brown die, which is the worser of the two, and the darker brown, which is somewhere around here.
Or even white. She gets white.
Oh, there is a white. Yeah, okay. So that's how that's going to work. And really what you're trying to do is this dice rolling, as Jeremy explained. You want to get a bang symbol before even your damage die matters. And then when you're defending, you are trying to get shields, which will knock down a point on how much damage they're doing. Or you are wanting to get the evade icon here, which will completely negate a bang icon. And unless they have another bang icon, then the attack is completely kaput. So it's an interesting concept because it's kind of like you're rolling one roll, but you're trying to get multiple things with that roll. And so I found that the success rate in this game is fairly pretty high, but it's not so high that you're going to just be...
It's not perfect. You're not going to be running the table.
Right. You're not going to just clear everything out in one turn in this game. In fact, we probably had there, with just about every baddie on the table, more than one round in order to take them out, except for maybe the very first one. I think the very first one we were able to kill them off pretty quickly, but the guard dog, but this is a game in which you're going to be going back and forth, and you're going to be taking damage, and there's going to be some times throughout it that you are going to get lower on health, and you're going to have to, strategize and do some teamwork to figure out how you're going to get through this and make sure you don't lose a person. If you do get knocked out, you're out, and if everybody gets knocked out, then game over. You lose that mission. You're going to have to start over. So this is one that is going to require some teamwork to get through. Jeremy, what'd you think about this one? Was this a fun experience?
I thought it was fun. I thought it was more fun as we went on. As Lance and I have talked, both of our criticisms would be just that Lance read the quick play guide, and it says to start here, play as you go, and then the mission guide, which tells you which mission to read and get that set up. But I told Lance, because he did not read the rules reference, since it was kind of implied or inferred that just do this and then figure these things out. I will suggest that you have somebody go through this.
Absolutely.
And just know, because there's so many things that we looked up to see how that affected maybe different iconography, different ways as far as pulling
bolded words on cards,
different symbols. There's a lot of different things to know, and I feel like you need at least one person to know the ins and outs of this, and then have everybody else, kind of use this as they're playing through.
Right.
That's just the main criticism that we had with it was just that little implication or inference of just get this and go, and you can, but you're going to constantly be looking at this. And I felt like it would have been much smoother and quicker.
Yeah.
And more enjoyable out the gate, knowing these things instead of, okay, I'm starting to figure it out. I got this. It's good. I like the theming. I think the components are fine. I like little, I love nostalgia. So seeing those stripes gum here.
Juicy fruit.
No, stripes. Man.
Oh, it's
that's
stripes?
the zebra.
Oh, that's a
that's
zebra.
The stripes.
Okay.
It's a unicorn or something.
Yeah.
Or a knockoff, but they put fruity, but it's stripes gum. That's a reference. It's got to be. And there's a lot of little things like that in the game that I feel like you said, are kind of like Texas Chainsaw kind of backstory that's not. Maybe a spoof of it. You have Insta Pockets. We all know that's Hot Pockets.
Yeah.
That's not Hot Pockets. But little things like that really... I like how even on the milk crate has a missing. I don't know if Lance saw that. But
I didn't.
There's a missing person label on it, like the old school.
Yeah, that's great.
Milk carton. So that aspect of it, even like I said, it's 90s theme. So I'm going to. I was pretty excited to get to it. Mm-hmm. And like I said, as we got going and knowing, and figuring out, it was much better. I think the dice. Are well produced as well. They remind me, which I haven't played Too Many Bones. I know that's blasphemy for some people, but they do look very similar to me from what I've seen in pictures and what other people play as far as the numbers and the size and everything, and how you put them in your neoprene board. So I mean, they got to be good quality if they're on that level.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like that's one of the major places they probably spend a good chunk of money was into the dice. There are a lot of tokens, a lot of different punchboard tokens as well. And that, like I said, I think the art's pretty good. I mean, it gives you a little bit of that cartoony nostalgia flavor. It's not overly graphic to where you're just like, oh, this is just, they spent a little too much on the artwork and not here or there. I think it just all...
And I will
a good amount.
Point out the box here. You do get this insert, and it says reveal after completing mission 3. That's what this says. If I'll move things out of the way, and so there's even more stuff underneath this that you get to as you unlock stuff. So there's a lot of unlockable content in this game. In fact, there's just a lot of content. And of course, doing this review, we did not get the opportunity to do all of that content. And so, take our word for just what it's worth as far as the intro and really kind of sinking our teeth into this. Yeah, an impression. But all in all, I really appreciate the vibe this game gives. The theme behind it is very unique. It's one that I enjoy, as Jeremy's talking about the nostalgia and all that behind it. I love that aspect of it. And I found that the combat with the dice and needing to try to get the two different things to line up on my dice rolls was an enjoyable way to do the combat. It makes sense. And it's one that I don't see being repetitive too much. Maybe after I've played the entire campaign, it might feel that way. But at this point, really getting into it, it's something that's exciting to me. And now that I do understand the game, I do want to keep playing it and figure out what's going to happen next. You complete these objectives as it progresses throughout the story. It tells you a little bit of a story, and then it has you do another objective, and it tells you a little bit more of the story, that sort of thing.
You know what I just thought about? Because we had talked about, we were talking just kind of generically about, what we thought. And I told you, I didn't see the insert of the box. I didn't know that there's more stuff underneath. I bet you there's another character or two underneath the box lid.
There could be some bad guys.
That's another thing that we're like, man, I know it's going off this story. The storybook mission's kind of like a comic style, which I'll throw out one more joke about that in a minute that I told Lance. It reminded me of something. But I was like, man, I know it's based off the story in this campaign, but I wish there was like more characters. And now that I know there might be more stuff under the box, that would be a little bit more exciting, because I felt like, you would come into contact with more characters and see. So I'm wondering if there's going to be more under the box. I don't know if I haven't looked or didn't even know that said that in the insert.
Yeah, it's there. There's stuff under there. I don't know what it is. I haven't looked at it myself, but maybe we'll get to it.
And I told Lance, this is kind of funny. I'm gonna show you. I feel like Dustin might have done this like me in high school or college, and you write a paper and you're trying to fill space, and even in like in news writing, you know, for my news writing classes and journalism classes, is APA is you have to have a certain font and certain lettering and everything. And I told Lance, I said, I feel like when I was reading this newspaper in here, that it was like I was in high school and I changed the font to like a level 14 or 16 font instead of 12 or 10 to fill up the page, and make the report look better. And the teacher was like, you know, you can't do that. But then you go to the next page.
On the very next
page, it's like normal print.
It's a little tiny font with a lot of words.
So I felt maybe that was even more nostalgia Dustin threw in, and like when you're writing your papers and you see that, I'm not sure, but that drew another nostalgic thing from me with my attention. So any other last minute thoughts about the game?
I think I'll throw it out there, guys, that if you are somebody who likes dungeon crawlers, I've said it in other videos that I find that a lot of people kind of fall on one side or the other. You either really like dungeon crawlers or they're just kind of meh for you. And if you're somebody who really likes dungeon crawlers, then this is a game that's probably going to speak to you in some ways, because this is just classic dungeon crawler goodness. It does have the exploration to it as well. You're going to be rolling dice to determine what happens to you, that sort of thing. So it's just got classic dungeon crawler mechanics with a very interesting theme attached to it. There's a lot of good things that I like about it. I do think if you can get through that first 45 minutes of kind of fumbling your way through some of the stuff that's not explained in that quick reference guide, the rest of it is it's a lot better experience, and you really start to get the feel for the game.
I think maybe if you get past mission 1 of objective 1, or even mission 2 of objective 2 or objective 1. But again, I think if you read this overall rule book in addition to the mission guide and the quick play, I think it says in the rule book to read the quick play. I think you need to do that for sure. I would just say I think you need to make yourself a little bit more familiar with different tokens or symbols on the cards and how those things work, just so that you enjoy it much better out the gate. And it'll probably make that 30-minute getting into it more like a 10-minute getting into it. And you're like, oh yeah, this is good. Yeah. I know you're you said you're either love dungeon crawlers or you're a little bit more towards middle high. Yeah. I personally, I like them, your Zombicides and, this is a cooperative one like Zombicide or Bloodborne or Cthulhu Death May Die. But then you also have, other ones that are competitive, which are not as favorite
I don't
to me,
really like
Arcadia
those,
Quest and stuff, but they're still fun. I just think if you like nostalgia, if you've played Mixtape Massacre or Escape from Tall Oaks, that type of game, but you want something maybe a level up, I think this would be a great thing to move into. Just know, like I said, you're gonna want to put the time in to understand the game mechanics a little bit better.
And I want to throw out there real quick that when we're saying this, is it on the same level as a Gloomhaven? Not by any means, no. It's not as thick or heavy as a Gloomhaven experience, but the way it's presented...
There's aspects of it.
There are.
There's different similarities in even the terminology of cards that you brought up as we were playing. I've only played Gloomhaven twice. I think it's a good, fun game, but it's just not... It's not on my top list. But
and what I mean by it's not as dense or thick is just you look at the rule book. The rule book for Gloomhaven is super thick.
Yeah, this is but it's not supposed to be. This is supposed to be more nostalgia. Dungeon crawler with some similarities. And you should know that this isn't. Anybody that's in
the look to it.
Gaming, if you're on Hard to Master right now, you've probably dealt with board games for a little while, and you would know that this is not going to be a Gloomhaven. This is going to be. Where's the box cover? This is going to be a nostalgic type game with this type of art style that is not going to be perfectly written. I wouldn't expect that, but like I said, if you spend the time to understand the rule book, in addition to the quick play and the mission you're going to read that's a graphic novel style, I think you'll enjoy it. But you need to know that going in that this is going to be geared towards probably people that like nostalgia or like dungeon crawlers and don't have to have the $100 Gloomhaven experience,
Right.
but still want something that's new, fresh, fun with maybe a little bit different tweaked combat system. But like I said, this has 10 missions, like a campaign style, and each mission each objective has several different missions in it. So each session, I mean, we started out and we thought it was just going to be this one mission objective. And Lance was like, I've seen the video and I don't think it's going to be very long. And I go, well, I feel like it says read objective 2. Where's objective 2, Lance? So like I said, read the rule book.
Read the
So
the
we
big
pull
rule
out
book,
and I'm like, well, there's 5 of them, Lance. And so after we got through this and knew that, and we understood more what was going on, I was like, okay, I mean, I'd play this quite a bit longer now that I know.
Right.
We've clarified some things and we got this. So
definitely leaves me wanting more of it and experiencing it some more. I've definitely played some dungeon crawlers where I've been like, I don't want any more of that. I'm done with it. This isn't one of them, guys. This is a good experience. And it's one that I think will appeal to a lot of people out there, given the theme it is. So
it's not one that, I mean, I don't play the same game all the time anyways, but it's not one that I would want to pull out all the time, but occasionally pull out and do a mission.
Do a mission here or there.
Or even back it up with play a mission of this and then team it up with a Mixtape Massacre or Escape from Tall Oaks.
Would make for a good mix of horror games.
That'd be a good Halloween evening or something,
for sure.
Or if you're just wanting to switch it up.
Yeah. Well, there you go, guys. That's our thoughts on the Ghost Betwixt. Go check it out. I've got a link down below in the description of this video. You can check it out on BGG. I'm Lance.
And I'm Jeremy.
And this was Hard to Master, where we take a look at games that are hard to master. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.